said here, hi to a foreigner in the Philippines. My name is Steven from Australia. I am writing for help, or in other words, advice. I have a girlfriend in the Philippines. We met through FB about 8 months ago. I came to the Philippines last August for 3 weeks so we could meet. I want her and she wants also to come to my country, Australia. There is about 20 years between us, but I'm older, so I am lucky one. 2 sons are adult now and she has 5-year-old daughter. Her name is Beth, also Mary Beth. And her daughter's name is Althea. She is in Santulan, Malabon. Until I got there, she never asked me for money. But while I was there, Beth told me, her name is Beth. Beth told me that she has to show the embassy that she has money, so I gave her. It's a little confusing letter, you know.
Honey, why don't you just read the letter?
Okay. What's that? Beth told me that she has to show the embassy that she has money, so I gave her 30,000 pesos, about 770 Australian dollar. And then it became 40,000 plus airfare, about 330 Australian dollar. And then about 12,000 pesos for visa, and get visa quicker, you pay 7 to 8,000 pesos, and the embassy will do quicker, go on 4 or 5 months, and she gets health problem. Migraine, which she showed me the medical papers, headaches. So then, she needed therapy for angina and medicines, and wanting 3,500 to 4,000 pesos nearly every week for her therapy. I love her very much and I like to help, but lately she's been sick and been in the hospital few times. I don't get to talk to Beth like before, a couple of times a day now. It is maybe couple times a week and I miss her very much. What I want to know, is it true what Beth says about the money for embassy to show she can support herself, and so the Australian custom will let her into Australia? Do you know if it's true about embassy and about the visa? Can you help my problem? Regard, Steven. I have been watching the driving lesson recently. Makes me laugh. Thanks, foreigner in the Philippines. Salamat. I don't understand the letter, by the way.
Right, I do understand. What's been happening is that he met a girl, he came out to meet her, he spent 3 weeks with her, obviously fell in love. She's a very beautiful girl, and he's feeling very lucky because he's 20 years older than she is, and so he is all set to have he's obviously all set to have a life with this lady. Now, that's when everything starts to seemingly go into the toilet in my mind. Now, first of all, I always encourage people to go to the source for information from a government.
Yeah.
It's very easy to find out what a visa costs. It's really easy. It's very easy to go through to your embassy wherever you live and ask a question about what the requirements are. You would simply talk to someone at the local embassy, wherever that you can get on the phone, and say exactly what you've said to us, except don't go into all of the prices and things. You just say, I'm trying to get my fiancé over to Australia and I would like to know the requirements and the costs. And they will say, well, the visa is whatever the number is. In America, I think it's a K3 or a K1 visa. They have a number for it, they have a price for it, and if you speak to someone, you actually get someone with a pulse instead of a machine, and they will tell you all of the answers of these. Everything else is just talk. Everything else is rumour. Everything else is the results of somebody's last experience, which may be good and bad. We've had good and bad reports about what happens to people when they're coming back into the Philippines, that they're not allowed to come in or they are allowed. The only way is to go through to the source on the technical things like what does a visa cost, you can ask them very, very plainly, is my girlfriend required to show funds in the bank? If so, how much? it's a very simple question, and it won't be complicated to get the answer. Now, the other thing then would be to go on to, it does seem when you're talking through it that even you have already thought this is too much. So it's one of those things, you know, once your trust starts to go, you really have to look at and assess why your trust is being a bit shaky. Is it because of past failures, past losses, in which case it might be irrational. It might be irrational. But if it's just going on plain common sense, for instance, how much can it possibly cost to go for therapy, and in what form would that therapy be for migraine?
Migraine?
I call it migraine, okay? So, now that I've been corrected, migraine, either, neither, neither, what is it going to cost? And can anything cost that much? I mean, what are we talking about here? We're talking about 3,000 or 4,000 pesos. How much is that, Annie?
3,200 pesos. I don't know how much is the Australian, 37 or 4?
I think it's 37.
For example, 37.
Work the math out, what it would cost. And then call up somebody in your own country and find out, if I was suffering from migraine, or my girlfriend is suffering from migraine, when she gets here, will you be able to treat it? And what kind of costs will I be looking at? And they'll say, well, costs, we'll give you some medication and massage your head. It's not hard to get this information.
What is
My feeling is that maybe you don't want to know what is really going on.
But there's another one, angina. What do you mean by angina?
Angina, something to do with the heart. It's a condition of the heart.
Because the problem is she gets health problem, angina and migraine. So my advice to you, sir, this is me again. You know, when it comes to, you know, as I said, as Darren says, you go to the source, so you can call them, you can Google their contact number, and then or email them. You know,
they probably got frequently asked questions, and yours probably fall into that easy to answer category.
Yeah,
Sorry,
yeah. That's my time. We also have an argument, you know. You know, so yeah, so go to this, Google the contact number, and then contact the embassy. You know, if it's how much it really costs, and then when it comes to her medical aspects, verify the source. You know, verify the source if it's really authentic. What she showed you on the medical papers, that's what she got. You know, and let her, for example, she gonna visit the doctor. You know, let her talk to the doctor, and then do a video that they've been talking to the doctor, so you can verify that she really visited the doctor, right?
Well, yes. Well, at least you should be able to have the receipts. And
yeah.
And this is the thing: is if somebody's lying, they'll get very defensive.
Yeah.
But if somebody's telling the truth, they will understand only too well that you might be concerned, and they will be willing to give evidence that they are telling the truth. When you call somebody a liar who is actually telling the truth, then they get indignant about that, and they want to prove that they're telling the truth.
Yeah. Yeah, and at the same time, I'm sure that the doctor, for example, your girlfriend will explain to the doctor that, look, doc, my fiance is in Australia, and she wants to know your opinion, your say about my condition. You know, so can I just let my accompany into the video, so that he can show. Besides, it's a private matter, just between only him can see it. You know, so the doctor will understand, especially that you are the one that funding it. You know, so that's my other take on it. And you know, and if it's a little bit, you know, if it's a little bit suspicious, then don't send any more money. You know, because now that she's still in the Philippines, is already been lying to you. How much more if she will go to the Australia, and then possible you just bring her to Australia, and then she's gonna dump you away.
She's gonna dump you, in other words. Yeah. The other point is, is that you have noticed a drop off in the intimacy that you once used to share, that you used to talk to her a couple of days every day, a couple of times a day. Now, all of the good relationships, all of the good relationships that I know of, that we have been both written to about and that I've spoken to her about, when they met, they usually couldn't get enough of each other writing and talking and texting, and it went on all the time, and they spoke usually a couple of times a day, or at least every day. So now, if you're down to 2 times a week, that sounds not so good to me. That's a red flag to me. And especially if it's gradually decreased over time. Now the thing is, if somebody's lying in hospital or they're at home and they're sick, they've got time, more time, to get in touch with the person that they care the most about, which presumably should be you.
Yeah, but you know, we never know what if she's telling the truth or not. So better if maybe you could take vacation, right? And visit her to find out if it's really true, and go accompanying with her to the doctor.
And say, yes, you say, listen, I'd like to talk to this doctor myself.
Mm-hmm. You know, so to find out before you entering into a serious commitment. You know, so that's our advisor. So listen the advice of our subscribers, whether they believe it or not. You know, that the woman is telling the truth or not, or she got angina and migraine. You know, but the simple thing to solve the problem, go to the source.
But if you do actually feel a sense of loss as far as the trust goes, you really should. That's something that you should address yourself in a quiet moment, and actually try to be totally honest with yourself as to the reason for the lack of trust. It would be the same, for instance, if you were jealous, or if somebody was jealous and they were jealous of you. There may be several reasons for why someone is jealous, and one of them may be that they have reason to be jealous. Okay? So, or that they have reason to be concerned about where the affections of the woman or man that they love are going. And so it needs some careful assessment as to what your own inner intuitive feelings are about this situation. It does sound, whenever we get a letter like this, it always turns out that the person already knows. They already know that something is wrong. That's why they're writing.
Yeah, because we got instinct. You know, every human being have an instinct, and sometimes that instinct lead us.
Yeah, it's an instinct.
Instinct.
Rather than an instinct.
We got an instinct, and sometimes our instinct is right. You know? Instinct.
Okay, so if your instinct stinks,
you know, so hope Sir Stephen, you get something from our advice and our subscribers' advice, and at the same time we wish you luck. You know, we wish you luck, and also if your girlfriend or your fiancé isn't really in bad health, we're hoping that she's gonna recover soon, and you will be together happily ever after.
Right.
Yeah. So
and
please.
If not, as another source of information and input, there are sites. I've been in a situation myself a long time ago of being lied to, and boy, there's nothing quite so gut-rotting as knowing that you're being lied to, but really not wanting to admit it. So what I did was there are a few sites on YouTube, quite a few, that if you type in, "Is she lying to me?" you'll get plenty of input, and not just input. You'll hear some of the worst scenarios of what can happen when somebody is lying to you. And no doubt, if you put in, "Is my Filipina lying to me?" then you will get even more. Now, the thing about that is that as you read account after account after account, It's not a pleasant thing. It's a bitter pill, but you may begin to see a particular way that things are going, which sounds familiar, because you know there are not so many new ways to do anything in this world of ours. It's all been done before. And so as soon as people start to see a particular form taking place, then if you can liken that to your own experience, it might equip you to do what you have to do. That's my take on it. Not so good, but it's something that we have to do. If we feel that we're being lied to and the trust is going, we need to have some practical advice about how bad it can be and what other people have done in that same situation.
Yeah, you know, because the relationship that is based on trust and respect are the one that will long last.
That's what you want.
You know, because it's just like a sand. You know, you're building your house with the foundation of the sand, and once the water will drop, the wave, it will just broke down. You know, so that's what the important is, that you need to settle down. You need to figure out whether she's telling the truth or not, and have an investigation first before you sending money to the to your fiance, because you don't want at the end of the day you will be the one to be crying out. You know.
Try going online and seeing if you can go on YouTube and type in "Lie to Me." That was a program that was put on in America, which was actually based on a lot of facts.